All right, I'm back with the next part. So that day, Fawn leaves after kissing her hair. Shulang takes the best care of himself over the weekend and he quickly recovers. The next day, he keeps himself busy with research at the lab. In the afternoon, a friend comes over and tells him he should go and have lunch. So Shulang quickly changes his clothes and heads towards the cafe area. Just then, Shulang meets President Zuba 14. Shulang didn't want to talk to him, so he ignores him and starts walking away. But 14 comes in front of him and says, "President Yu, it's been a long time since I met you." In the next scene, they both sit across from each other at a table. Shulang tells him that the food here won't be that tasty, so you'll have to be a little patient. Zubiotin smiles and says, "You know about Fan Xiao, right? Of course, you were in a relationship, so you must know about him." Shulang says no, he doesn't even want to know about them. So Zubiotin says, "Really, you don't know anything? He recently returned wearing tattered clothes and roaming every street in the city on a rickety bike, and you're saying you don't know anything about him? Anyway, whatever happened was for the best. All these days when he had power, money, and connections, he controlled us all. But now it's his turn. I'll control him." Shulang smiles slightly and says, "Why are you feeling so irritated with him? If you had the chance, why haven't you brought him under your feet yet?" Zubiotin says, "That's what I'm unable to do. That's why I'm angry. I'm sure he couldn't develop his own technique with the money he has now, but that day when he came to see me, I really didn't have the courage to say anything to him. You know, he came to our cafe the other day and drank premium coffee and said it wasn't as tasty as Solanki's coffee. So will you give me a drink one day? I want to know how delicious coffee is with your own hands." Shulang asks, "Why are you here? You didn't even tell me that." Zubiotin asks, "So what did you think about Fanny?" Shulang asks, "What do you think I should think?" Zubiotin says, "Revenge?" Fawn's condition is very bad now, and this is the chance. You can take revenge on Fan Xiao. He's controlled you for so long, and now it's your turn. Shulang says, "But how can I take revenge? What's the worst that could happen? I could just go and hit him." Zubiotin smiles and says, "Are you really that kind? You remember that Bai Pingyu with whom Fan Xiao has an old rivalry? He's just setting a trap. As soon as Fan falls into his trap, he will take his revenge." In the next scene, when he returns to the lab after lunch, he again keeps himself busy with work. Seeing this, the professor says that it seems everyone will get some rest now because Shulang is handling everything alone. All the other students also respect him a lot because he's older than them all. Initially, they used to call Shulang simply Yoon, but later someone called him Susu, and from then on, everyone started calling him So. Shulang did not like this and tried to stop them, but they were not ready to listen. Then Shulang tells them that they will not call him by that name because someone used to call him by that name in bed. Hearing this, everyone stops laughing and becomes very serious. Then the professor explains to them that from now on, no one will call Shulang by that name. Everyone will call him classmate, right? In the next scene, he finishes work a little early and heads for the bus stop. After waiting for a while, he starts smoking and looks at his wristwatch. It's only 8:07 p.m. Sometime later, when the bus arrives, he gets on the bus and looks at himself through the window. There was no anger, no sadness, no happiness on the boss's face. He was sitting completely still. Then he remembers something and quickly checks his phone. There, Zubiotin had texted him saying that he had set a trap for Bai Pingyu Fan Xiao at 8:30 p.m. tonight and that he would definitely get his revenge. Seeing this, Shulang's heart races. He also wrote to call him when he reached the address. Shulang hurries to call Fan Xiao. He seems to be there, but his phone was switched off. He panics, gets off the bus, takes a taxi, and heads to the location. On the way, he repeatedly calls Fan. However, his phone is switched off, making him even more frightened because it's 8:40 p.m. In the next scene, when he arrives at the private bar, he asks the manager, "Where's third young master pooping?" The manager asks, "Can I know your surname?" Shulang thinks for a moment and says his surname is Fan. The manager smiles and calls someone. He then takes him to the private room saying, "Third young master is waiting for you in this room." Then he leaves. Before entering, Shulang calls Zubiotin once more, but he isn't answering calls. Putting his phone in his pocket, Shulang slowly opens the door and enters. Just then, Bai Pingyu and a few others greet him, thinking he's Fan. But as soon as Shulang enters, they're surprised and ask, "Hey, who are you? And where's Fan Xiao?" Pingyu looks at him and asks, "What are you doing here?" Shulang looks around the room, but neither the Biotin nor Fan Xiao are there. He smiles and says, "I heard the third young master is coming here today, so I thought I should go and meet him. It's been a while since I've seen you all." He then takes out his phone and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have some important work to do. I have to go and I don't want to spoil your happy time." With that, he starts walking towards the door. But then Pingyu comes up behind him and says, "Since you've come all this way, why don't we have a drink?" Shulang turns to him and says, "No, I'm on medication right now, so I can't drink." As he goes to open the door, he notices it's already locked. This frightens him. "What's all this about, young master?" Pingyu smiles and says, "It's nothing. I know what's going on between you and Fan Xiao. Fan Xiao hasn't come here today anyway, so why don't you call him and have a conversation? I'll sort things out between you when you're face to face." Shulang puts away his drink. "I probably won't be able to help you because I don't have any contact with Fan Xiao right now, so I can't call him." Pingyu gets a little angry because it was because of someone like that Fan Xiao had hit him so hard that day. He smiles and says, "Why are you standing in front of the door like that? Come on, let's sit together and have a proper conversation." But Shulang refuses to give up. "I'll come see you another day. I have to go now. My friends are waiting for me." Pingyu gets a little serious now. "This room is only occupied by my messages, and I don't think you'll ever come to see me again. So why don't we have a proper meeting today?" Shulang realizes he's out of control. The door isn't opening and Pingyu is being stubborn. The poor fellow finally gives in and goes and sits with them. All right, I'll be back soon with the last part of episode 14. So soon. Ta-ta. Good night.